Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. The other day we got a question in a live stream. How would you do a radius if you didn't have this swinging contraption that we got from Grizzly and proceeded to modify to work with our necks? We can kind of deep dive into that if you want, but there's videos that we've already done about this machine and it works great. In fact, I think that if you're only going to have a couple of big tools, this ought to be one of them, because it takes a job that's really tedious and it's really hard to get right with a block every single time and turns it into a no-brainer. As a matter of fact, I've gotten so spoiled by this machine that I'm wondering if I can even do what I'm about to do on video. And that is the way that we used to put radiuses on fretboards when I was at Roberto-Venn back in the 80s. Anyone who was at Roberto-Venn when James was teaching the how to build the electric guitar portion of the class might remember that there were no radius blocks, there were no radius gauges. It was just sort of like take the fretboard and go like this on a sander, not unlike this, only shorter. And I know for a fact that the one that I did is all kinds of wonky. I bet you most of those were more than just a little bit flat in some spots. But it kind of got me thinking, I wonder if we took this part off and just use the sander like this and see how close we can actually get to a real radius or to a measurable radius. So the idea here is I'm going to use the flat part of the sander here and just sort of go like this and try and establish a radius on this board. I've got just a piece of maple that's double stick taped to a template and I want to see how close I can get. I'm going to be checking along the way with gauges and things like that. And if you're really lucky, Chris might come and try his hand at this too. So let's get the sander set up. Right now it's got a 220 belt on it. We're going to put a 60 or 80 grit belt on it and see how close we can get. All right, so I've got a radius gauge here, and this one does 7 1/4, 9 1/2, 10, and 12. And so we're going to see if we can get one of those on this neck here. And I'm just going to put some marks on my fretboard so I can see where I'm grinding and where I'm not, and kind of hope. My plan is to get this as even as possible. I don't know, it'd be one thing for me to go, I'm going to shoot for this specific radius. I don't know how realistic that is. It's been 30 years since I've even tried this, so who knows what's going to happen. So we'll see if we can get close to one. The other thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we're even on both sides and that we're, we're not falling off one side or the other. And we have a nice flat, if you put a straight edge on here, it would be nice and flat. You wouldn't have a dip or anything like that. I think the machine's going to help us out with that. So I got the belt set up. I got some lines drawn on my neck here. And I've got my gauge. Let's see how close we can get. All right, so let's see how we did here. I think we're right in between 10 and 12. And what we're going to do is, so there's 10. It actually doesn't look too bad. There's 12. Now, again, it doesn't look too bad right here. We need to, it looks like we're a little high in the center. Let's see what 9 1/2 looks like. 9 1/2 actually looks pretty good on the base side, and then we got a flat spot down here. Let's mark some stuff. Let's mark some lines and see if we can't fix some of the some of the issues. So we're going to use, let's see, we're going to use 9.5, and it looks like well, there's a gap right here, so we need to kind of focus on this part, and it looks to be about to right here. We need to really concentrate on the base side to make this a consistent 9.5. And then we're starting to get a flat spot. Everything else looks pretty decent though. Nice big flat spot. It's almost like an ellipse. So we need to concentrate on this part here from about where the nut to the, say like the 7th fret would be. We're a little bit high on the bass side, and then we've got a flat patch from, you know, like the 9th fret all the way back that we need to correct. So I found that if I just sort of rock the piece like this, it's better than trying to go like this. At least that's what I'm thinking. Let's give it a try. All right, I've been chasing this around for a little while now, and I was real close to 9.5, and then I kind of started goofing it up a little bit. Now I'm closer to 12, but it's not too far off. I'm wondering how to conclude this video, and I think the best way to do it is set up another one of these perfectly flat and see how close Chris can get to some radius. Not dead flat, because he's listening right now. He's going to try to cheat and go, yep, I'm done, it's perfectly flat. So I'm going to set up this exact same rig and let Chris give it a try, see how close he can get. Okay, Chris, you've got a flat piece of fretboard there on the same blank that I did. And what are your predictions for this? You said something about how it would be easier if it wasn't...
if it wasn't tapered?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, but maybe not. Let's grind this flat and let Jesse try it.
Okay.
Let's run it through the machine.
All right. All right. So Jesse, we've got you fixed up with a flat fretboard on the same jig there. What are your predictions for this technique?
My prediction is perfect 12-inch radius first try.
All right.
All right, let's give it a go. Not bad, not bad.
So you got 12 or?
I got 12 right there.
That's actually not, I mean, it's not too far off. You got a little flat spot in the back.
Spot right here.
That's all of mine had a little flat bits there too.
Yeah. Not bad, right?
Not too shabby.
It's
And that's maple too. I mean, that's pretty hard wood. All right.
You know what?
What?
I'm going back to the jig.
All right, well, Chris and Jesse and myself all got reasonably close. Mine turned out to be pretty close to 12. Jesse's turned out pretty close to 12, and Chris got closer to 10 than either of us. But for the most part, we were able to do a fairly decent job with just using the sander and kind of, you know, going back and forth with it. So can it be done? Yeah. Should you probably chase these with a radius block? You bet. But you know, going back in history and you're thinking about the way that people used to do this, you wonder, you know, there's lots of ways to do this same job onto similar necks, whether you worked for Paul Bigsby or Leo Fender or Semi Mosley. There was probably a bunch of different ways that each one of those guys did the same job and put the radius onto the fretboards. If you guys know any of those historical facts, please leave them in the comment section below. I always like to hear how this and other guitar building jobs got done back in the old days. Of course, everything's CNC now, but there had to have been a time when it was people using tools and making guitars the way that they don't do it anymore. Okay guys, hope that you liked this video. If you did, give me the thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, why not hit the subscribe button, and we'll bring you lots of cool videos like this and other things. We do cuckoo stuff all the time. If you appreciate content like this, you might want to go over to our Patreon page and consider becoming a member. Even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys this kind of quality entertainment. If you can't do Patreon though, we totally get it. Just share the video as many places as you can think of. Help us grow the channel that way. And until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, figure out a cool way to do it yourself and let me know in the comment section below. Do it yourself. That's what I always do. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great one.